Yeah, so the first event I ever hosted was my birthday event, which, like I said, was almost 2 months into my time in VR chat. I had made a small group of friends. I also invited some of my ESO friends to check out VR chat and join. And we had met.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
I'm Old Man Raptor, and our guest is, and look out, this is going to be a good one, is...
Hello, hi.
I'm the problem, Tinajaymeow.
I'm the problem. Hey, well, an interview here, Riley, folks. Guess what? We have no problems, but we try to find one. Now we got one. Oh, boy, here we go. This is going to be great.
Indeed. Thank you very much for joining us, Tina. It's an absolute pleasure to sit down and speak with
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to meet you. Very much
Very
so.
nice to meet you as well. Yeah. And welcome to TJs.
Oh, well, what does you do here in this virtual world?
Cause a lot of mischief, but mostly I world build and I host DJ and drinking events with a heavy quest-friendly focus.
Ah. So,
well, I got a question already off the top.
Oh,
okay, you just popped up and said mischief. What kind? We're gonna get. I want to hear this because I know it's not smooth, Line. It's got to be rough. I got to hear this.
Well, a lot of people have also late night know me as Takina. She's my drunk alter ego. I can't fully explain what mischief she gets into, but it's a lot.
Yeah, she's very.
I have a strange feeling
mischievous.
with that name. Tequila's involved. I very much understand.
That's how she began, but she's kind of evolved into like.
She's evolved into other things. A lot of times it has to do with getting crossfaded. A little bit of the smoky, and then drinky, and Takina comes knocking on my door. Steals my headset, puts me to bed, and then I don't know what she does after that. Yeah.
So, what got you? You started in VR chat and all of these things you're up to, from world building and owning TJs Tavern.
Mm-hmm. That technically it started during COVID. I had never heard of VR chat or any really like social platforms like this, VR or not. My best friend IRL, I found out she got into Discord. She ended up on Discord online, doing some online gaming with her friends. So we reconnected. We've been best friends for now 20 years.
Oh, wow.
We reconnected. Yeah, and at the time, I played ESO. I played elderscrollsonline for a long time. I ran a guild, which is how my server technically started on Discord. And we ended up playing Roblox. We played a lot of Roblox. Her and then one of my ESO friends, Pidgey. The three of us would get drunk in Discord together and just play funny Roblox games until we found this world. We found this world on there called Club Iris, and that world, I don't know anybody else has ever heard of it, but it's actually, the concept is really cute. It's like this nightclub you go into. It comes with like maybe six different playlists that constantly play, but you and your friends can like pick the same one, and then you're listening to the same music synced.
Yeah.
So we would go in there, and then it has like real like dance moves, for your Roblox characters. So we would just have fun. We'd go in there, we'd pick a playlist, we'd be in Discord, drinking, chatting, and and then we'd have fun trying to match our moves, to the music and whatnot. And the only issue with that, which everyone's probably like, a nightclub on Roblox, isn't that for little kids? That turned into the issue with that, is just the fact, once we start paying attention to that conversations going around you, the nightclub also was attached to like this elevator that had hotel rooms upstairs. And just once you start reading conversations, there was like a lot of solicitation for Robux, to pay to like see naked avatar or characters or whatever. And that's when we realized like this is bad. Like, you don't know how old anybody is in the setting. So that's just when I asked in my survey, does anybody know anything that's like kind of like this but for adults, and someone mentioned VR chat, and we signed up. Yeah, and found our very first drinking night lobby, and never looked back. Never looked back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
I just can't wrap my head around it. No offense, but a naked robot block. How in the I
know, I know.
supposed to work?
People have weird.
Hold on. I got something you can really show, and it's blocky. It's gonna really make your
Lego.
mind spin.
Have you ever
hopefully you
scratched
don't
the
drop
paint off
it and
your
you fall.
Lego characters? Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, hopefully you don't drop it and fall to pieces and somebody picks up the wrong parts and puts you together. Yeah, right. Oh my God, man, I just can't wrap my head around that. Just go, wow, okay. Sorry, didn't mean to
It was a
interrupt.
thing. No.
It was a thing. It was a thing. It was very, very weird, but it was definitely too weird. First, it was that wasn't funny, but just, I don't know, conversations and they were funny. But once you start to pick up on that and you really think, like, how old are these people? Like, are these kids? Like, are they kids and then adults who are trying to pay? Like, it was just weird. Like, that was not a space I'd recommend anyone get into. Now that I've been kind of gaming a little bit, I've recently discovered Second Life, and I would compare it to Second Life, except Second Life also has live DJs, but it's that same kind of like, your character, you just have little emotes you can do for different dances and stuff, but it's that kind of similar setting if you're familiar with Second Life.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Second Life. My cousin played a lot of Second Life. He actually bought his first car because he ran a club himself. I think it was Club Indica in Second Life. And he was able to buy his first car with what he did in Second Life. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Imagine making money.
I know.
Playing, or creating stuff in these games. Imagine.
Well, the funny thing is I believe Second Life was one of the earlier adopters to like digital currency and like a social VR or social game platform, I guess. But there's also Habbo Hotel, but
I haven't heard of that.
So what got you?
I got a question for her, Line.
Sure.
I'm going to beat you to the punch. Since she started it and said she changed from one point to another, and I usually usually ask this question when you first got into VR, knowing that you had one episode in playing with blocks. What was the weirdest thing you saw in VR when you first walked into it and you had to literally walk away and say, no way?
I prepared for this because I know you ask everybody that. Hello, Arm. Yes, I'm here. Hello? Okay. Ignore my arm anyway. I can't ignore my arm. That's the weirdest thing.
Body drifts.
No, so same friends, right? Okay, hold them together and see if they'll behave that way. So same group of friends, my best friend T-Bird, and then my friend Pidgey, and then me. Again, we're new to VR chat. We had dabbled in some drinking night lobbies. We found like our little like, the VR chat list of like their standard like little starter avatars. I forget what mine was. T-Bird was in some basic e-girl avatar, and then Pigeon decided. Do you guys know that avatar? It's kind of memey, but it's that. It's the one that's like the chubby Asian guy holding the cat.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
He's like wearing an orange shirt, and then when you talk, the cat's the one that's talking, right? So he's just like sitting there holding a cat, and then the cat's the one whose mouth's moving. So that was the one he picked, and we had gone to. It's probably actually the first world I went to that was like nightclub-esque. And we get in there, and we're just hanging out, minding our own business, just having fun. And these two guys come up, and they start talking shit to Pidgey. They making like bullying him over his avatar. And me, like we had been drinking, and so like they're like being mean to him, and like I don't like people being mean to my friends or anybody. I'm very anti-bully. And they're like totally bullying him. So I start like defending him. And like me and these two guys, they sounded like they were maybe late teens, early 20s. Me, at the time, I was like mid 30s. Anyway, mid 30s at the time, and here I am arguing, like getting in like a huge like verbal like fight with these two guys until it hit me. I was like, I am fighting virtually with these two guys over this funny like Asian with the cat Mimi avatar, and I was like, what are you doing, Tina? I ended up just like blocking them or walking away, and we ended up leaving. But that was like my first time. I was like, wow, this is an interesting place.
Fair.
Interesting environment. I like it. No,
it's fun.
She likes it. Yeah. Hey, come here. I'll kick your ass. Don't fuck with the pussy. You're gonna get it. You gotta get the horns. If you get my drift.
Oh
my goodness.
So you're mentioning earlier you made worlds and stuff too. How'd you get into that?
Oh gosh. Let's see. We'll bring it back to like the 1990s and when Sims came out.
Ah.
I've always enjoyed
back.
games where you can, yeah, you got to hit that motherload cheat code, get all the money, and just build. Like that's what I love to do on Sims. I still like to play Sims, just for the world building.
Hmm.
So it started, I mean, it pretty much started from that, but also for a living, I do interior design for hotels. So
Oh.
it kind of just all syncs together with that. ESO, I was really, really big into like the housing, into like designing space planning, basically, like the interior design of the housing in there. So I've done a lot of worlds or a lot of houses in that game. But yeah, so it just kind of came natural. Really, the big thing for me that got me, so like I had made an initial just like basic ass little house world. That's my only out of 14 worlds right now. It's the only one that I have that's still in community labs. Is my very first world. Yeah, I made that one. And then once T-Bird, Pidgey kind of like fell off once we started to actually like get super social. He's not a super social person, and her and I just kind of flourished, with on the social aspects of VRchat. And so once we got into that, we started getting into the nightclub scene. We were introduced to that, kind of dove into that, and just seeing. So me, I've been a gamer. I've had like gaming PCs, like I've always kept them up to date, so I always have a really nice gaming PC. And so I easily could handle, like, it probably took us both like 2 months, and we were like, we got to get VR headsets because we didn't have VR to start with, we were just on PC. So we both got them around the same time, but her PC, she had a laptop, and her laptop couldn't handle it plugged in. So basically it turned into me being able to be on PC VR, and then she was on her Quest headset. So we would always, of course, go to worlds, like the castle originally. Now it's VRU, and it's definitely not quest friendly. But, when they first were in that version of that world, it was quest friendly. But I remember we would go, and then, but her experience there, completely different than what I saw. I was like, whoa, the textures, everything looked really cool. And the way they did their like video, on columns and stuff like that just looked really cool. But to her, everything was just like black texture. Like she couldn't see anything, like nothing cool in that world. And I discovered that was something that was very common for her. And a lot of quest friendly worlds is they try to build them like a lot of, which makes sense, for people who can handle that, is they build worlds to, of course, they want them to look top notch, have the best textures. But once you try to make that quest friendly, you have to reduce so many things, you have to reduce so much or remove things in order to make it quest friendly. I just felt like it took away from the experience. I mean, maybe for quest users it doesn't, because what they see is what they get. That's what they know. But for me, and just starting to get into the world building, my thought process was, well, maybe I can build clubs, that are actually, and like I want quest users to be able to have as close to the same experience as PC users get to have. That was like my number one thing when I first started building club worlds. Was just to make sure that when my best friend showed up at events or, in a world, we would have almost the exact same experience. Which is why, here, like, my textures aren't insane. I don't have like a lot of crazy stuff going on in here, like visually per se, but that's why. It's because I always want to make sure they see almost exactly what we see. The only things they don't see is like the stage lighting. They don't get to see that. And then post-processing, I take that out too. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, everything here, quest users get the same experience for.
Oh, wow.
So that's always been really, really important to me. And then also bringing them, I would like to say, I know there was that Club Lit that I don't think is around anymore. They might have came back, I'm not sure, but they've been gone for a while. But they were like one of the first clubs that actually had video players that were Quest compatible.
Really?
Whether that was with VRCDN or it actually wasn't VRCDN, that wasn't out yet. But there was like another way, and I eventually, like as quick as I could, wanted to figure that out because I wanted my best friend to not have to like listen to Twitch on her phone when she came to my events. I wanted her to be able to actually like see the screen and like get the game experience. So I was definitely one of the first clubs that started doing Quest compatible DJ events. So that was a big thing for me too.
Oh, are you aware of Quest compatible clubbing in that group?
I am actually, yeah. I helped them get started. I don't know if
really?
I actually didn't watch their interview, but I don't know. Yeah, they showed up at my events, and that kind of inspired them to start their group. I'm pretty sure they didn't mention that sad cloud Brohammer.
Oh.
But yeah, Brohammer. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if Brohammer was part of that interview, but
Yeah, Brohammer was a part of it. Is it easy?
yeah.
What is there any difference between running a PC only club world and a Quest compatible club world? Is there any difference between those two experiences?
There used to be until recently when VRchat made all the video players able to play YouTube and Twitch for Quest users. But there was a huge process before, especially with VRCDN. Like, you guys are familiar, Dr. Wolf, hi Doc, is my assistant here. He has been with me almost 2 full years now, helping me run events. And yeah, he handles kind of like our DJ area. But what we would have to do before VRchat made their big update is we both had, I have like this big, which I think is one thing that kind of makes my events stand out a little bit more than a lot of other events, is like I'm super anal on how my events are run. I don't usually like to collab with people unless I'm very familiar with their communities. I don't like partnering. I'm like very specific. I don't know. But I have like a process, and I get personally flustered. For everybody else will be having the greatest night of their life, and me, I'll be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Just if like one little thing isn't like if we're running behind on something, or DJ's like slightly late, or just stuff like that. Like it's stuff that Doc knows that, and he puts up with me so well. So I'm so thankful for Dr. Wolf. But he handles our video player, and we used to both have our own VRCDN accounts that we would have all our DJs signed up on. That way we could alternate them, but to make them Quest friendly. And even now, a lot of DJs still like to use VRCDN, and it's still a thing. I have to make sure that they're always, provide us with the right link, because if they use, a certain link that they're used to other places, Quest users won't be able to see it.
Okay.
So it is a process, but outside of that, the only other thing that makes a huge difference with Quest is optimization, because they do tend to struggle a lot more than PC users do, especially like we often, our events will be like 70 plus people here. And Quest users can struggle with that. So I do try to build my worlds. Another thing with like going back to like the texturing and all that kind of stuff is optimization. Like I try to make my worlds as optimized as possible. Once you hit that many people, you can only do so much. Like it's not the world's problem at that point. It's just the amount of people and avatars, but it's definitely a big process with Quest users. A lot of effort goes into being able to make a club Quest friendly.
So may I ask, in your experience, is there any specific view of Quest users within the club, VRchat club community?
Yes. I think a lot of clubs that are not Quest friendly, and that's one thing that I think is really sad, is like a lot of communities really miss out. I think they look at Quest users like they're just they think of them kind of as just being mostly, I think, kids. They're like, oh, it's just, a kid on a headset. But I have met some of the most amazing people, who are Quest users, including my best friend. My best friend is the most amazing person, T-Bird. And, it is sad. Like, I think it's really sad that there aren't more clubs who put the effort into trying to make things Quest friendly, because they're really missing out on a really, really great community, of people. And I think those people, who can't afford to have gaming, but they still have the same struggles. I think that a lot of people who have, kind of joined and jumped into the VR space, they want to have the same kind of release that the rest of us want to have. They just can't maybe afford to have like a $1,500 PC, and so I know it's made a lot of difference for a lot of Quest users, in our community. Just how much effort I put into, especially in other clubs, that are Quest friendly, just how much effort goes into it. They appreciate it for sure. So.
Well, it's for clubs that are PC only, they're kind of limiting their attendance base, because wasn't VRchat like 70 to 90% Quest users? So by like going no Quest users, you're kind of limiting how many people can see or experience what you do.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
agree.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Been down that. Yeah. Been there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that. But yeah. 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 I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you there too?
You
Oh
said
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, 70, 80. Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh my god.
So TJ's Tavern, you said, started as from ESO, like the server, and then led into here. Is this, like,
Yeah.
what are some of the origins of the club itself, like within VRChat? Like, how did it come to be?
Oh, in VR chat, or
Yeah.
you mean the
Well, at ESO, if
Well,
if it originated, it's both
Oh
relevant.
yeah, it originated. Yeah. So TJ's Tavern did originate with elder. Okay, this is another funny me drunk story. But so I mentioned in Elder Scrolls Online, I did run a guild in there called Miscreants of Cyrodiil, which I started that in like 2016, 2017, around there, and yeah, my server originally was called Miscreants of Cyrodiil, of course, but my guild was more of like, and our server was more of a tribe. So in Elder Scrolls Online, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there are three alliances. There's the Ebonheart, and the other ones that don't matter. But we started as like a tri-faction, like social PvP guild. I can only say that because we were PvP focused, and all I know is they were death numbers. But no. But anyway, I made it as a place where after we were done all murdering each other in game, we had a place we could come share memes, laugh, maybe talk a little shit to each other, but mostly kept it like a place where we got to know each other out of like murdering each other and hating each other in game and stuff like that. So we had like maybe, I want to say like 150 members, I think, at that time. And there was a point where I had a couple people who had joined my community who just felt like they knew better how to run a Discord server, I guess, a guild server. But I'm not really big. Like, I'm always open, like, if people have input, especially like with my world, and people know that, like, if they have any, like, especially if there's an issue. I already told you I'm like super, like, I'm like a perfectionist in the sense of a lot of things. So if there's something wrong, I want to know about it. But if it has to do with like something specific, so the way these people were going about how, you need to make sure people aren't talking about, like, trying to like micromanage how people are communicating in certain channels. It's like, I don't think that's a big enough deal to like make a stink to people, like, you can't talk about cats in the dogs channel, you need to go to the other and it just got so constant, I guess, with a couple people who are just constantly messaging me like, this person's talking about this in this channel. It's like, there was a night I had a few drinks and I was just like, you know what, I am done with this. It was like a year after our server started, and I ended up just like deleting that server, and then I created a new one and I called it TJs Tavern, because another one of my nicknames is Tej, like Teej.
Yeah.
So my current server started in 2019, I think. And it started as TJs Tavern, which is how I kind of started in VR chat. But I realized that name was kind of hard for people to like process, like TJs Tavern just sounds weird. So I did, like, after a few months, change it to TJs Tavern. But that is how our server started. It was kind of my way of saying, you know what, it's not a guild server anymore. It's where our guild is hummed, but it's not Miscreants of Cyrodiil anymore. So you can get off my back. Now it's TJs Tavern. It's my tavern. So don't tell me how to micromanage my community. So yeah, that's how TJs Tavern started. Yeah, it quickly became overrun though, which I don't know. I don't know how many of our ESO people. I still have a handful of like our true like group, our squad, for my guild that's in there now. But I think we lost probably like a lot of the ones once I started getting a bunch of VR chat people in there, because then VR chat obviously kind of changes the topics that come up. You get into a lot more like it becomes a VRChat creates like in servers, I think, a little bit more of like an emotional place where people can come to like vent about stuff they're going through IRL. But then it's also a fun, like a totally different like fun side, but it just, definitely became like very VRChat, and so I think it kind of scared off some of the people who aren't yet familiar with how amazing VRChat can be. But
that's a fair point.
I can't.
So do you still run the guild from ESO?
Oh, no, it's basically I have this now in game. We're at like 69 like inactive accounts. I still play ESO, but we really don't do anything guild related anymore. And I've tried to just keep our number at that like sweet spot 69 as best as I can. But I'm pretty sure like me and there might be one other person who still kept the miscreants of Cyrodiil, I think, just for nostalgia, server. Because like in that game, you were only allowed to have 5 guilds, and when you've been playing 10 years, people tend to like evolve and need to make space, so they'll get rid of like inactive guilds. We're not active on there anymore. It'd be fun to be, but I wasn't a very good leader in that game anyway.
I'm just curious why she picked 69, knowing she is wound like a fucking day clock.
Well, 69 because it'd be much harder to maintain, 420, or I don't know, what are the other cool kid numbers? Even 100. It's really hard to maintain 100 dead accounts on there.
Okay, we didn't go over that hill. Thank God, because if it was, look out, I was going to go in another direction. Okay, well, no problem.
Before you take it in the other direction, how'd it go from a Discord server into a to the VRchat club we sit in now?
Well, I mean, the Discord server was just always itself. VRChat was like its own. It's always from the beginning for me has been kind of its own entity, but my server was just kind of the place where as I met people, because T-Bird and I, we are super social. Her and I used to go clubbing IRL all the time in our like early 20s. When we lived close to each other, and then we didn't live near each other, and like we're out of contact for, I don't know, like at least 10 years or something like that. And but yeah, so it was just like VRChat was like such a natural place for her and I to like, if you met her, she's amazing. Like and our energy is just we just always have fun. T-Bird and I always have fun anywhere we go. And so it's just as soon as we started, we even still have friends that are like our day ones. We met in like our first drinking night lobby we ever went to. But it just turned into a place where like people were like, where can we hang out outside of VRChat? And I was like, well, I have this server, so it just kind of came into that. But as far as this world, TJs Tavern was my third world. Like I mentioned, my little home world I built. So I started VRChat. We started VRChat at the very beginning of December 2020. I ended up getting COVID Christmas that year and was out, but around that time is when I decided to order my headset. So I ended up ordering my Quest headset, and then when I was better, boom, I had it, and started being able to play it in VR. My birthday, which is the end of this month, by the way, January 29th, I'm having my 4th annual. It was called my other experience starting in VRChat, especially. Maybe it might be relatable. I know you two are kind of, we're all the late age gang for VRChat anyway. But it is just so I had started. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm totally jumping topics. We're jumping around.
Yeah, I'm lost now.
Raptor,
get me the boat out because I'm drowning over here. I can't keep up no more.
Don't make me grab that floaty in the VIP area. I'll put you back in that donut.
Okay. I'll behave.
Well, Raptor, if your age was a number, it'd be written in stone.
Yeah, every year you'd have to scribble it out and try to get it back like it was. Yeah, I appreciate that one.
Love you, Raptor.
Tina, just slow down. I'm lost. You go from what? I'm lost.
I know.
I don't know where. Big question. How in the fuck does anybody keep up with your ass? Holy shit.
Hold on, I just need
Jesus Christ! How does anybody, Doc or any of those guys? I think they'd have to be walking around. They'd have to have a. They'd have to have a lead around your leg, chasing you around, and then it's bungee cord. So there's a wing right faster. I got it. You know, and there they went. Oh, they're coming back. I'll just stand put. Holy Christ!
They
Wow.
You know, it's a tough job for anybody to try to keep up with me. But I think that's how I can handle how I'm able to handle so many different things, you know, not just VR chat. Then I have IRL, you know, my work, a full-time job. I have a kid. Like, I got a lot going on.
Oh wow. Well,
yeah.
I just wait a minute. I got this. I got to ask this. What kind of car do you drive? What kind of car?
I have a Chrysler 300.
Nice, roomy,
Okay.
great for road trips.
Oh, I figured it was going to be a sports car because the only way they can keep up with it is get in the goddamn car. We don't got all day. Get your ass
have
going.
you
Let's
driven
go.
a 300? I mean, wasn't one of the Batmobiles a 300 at one point in time? Thought so. Could be wrong. Doc would know.
Doc is probably correcting me right now as he's watching, once he watches the recording.
So we agree
Yeah,
or disagree?
that's what she thinks it is.
well,
It's not what she thinks it
After
is.
you watch this, Doc, you let me know if I was right or wrong. But I'm pretty sure one of them was a 300.
let us
Right.
know down in the comments, Doc, please.
Throw Doc under the bus now, and he's not even here. Holy shit, poor guy. How did I get pulled into this over a car?
No,
Oh,
but
boy.
Honestly, to be completely honest with you on your topic you just brought up, Dr. Wolf, one of the most amazing things about Doc is he literally is one of the reasons I'm able to stay grounded while hosting events. Because like before Doc came around, I literally, like I mentioned, run around like a chicken with my head cut off anytime any little thing happens. But like when something here happens, Doc is always either on top of it or he's there to be like, Tina, let's calm it. It's fine. It's all gonna work out, you know. And Doc has been like a huge savior in that sense for me. Like he really keeps me grounded. So I honestly, I would be insane as a host if I didn't have Doc with me.
Lion, I could see Doc around her ankles while she's trying to go places to keep her down on the ground so she doesn't float away. He's just dragging her around like a ball and chain. Wait till I see him next. I go, hey, how's the ball and chain doing? I'll not know what the hell I'm talking about until this video comes out. It's got to be funny.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how back to the origins of the club in VR chat? How did this come to
Oh
be?
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. We're
What I was doing, Raptor, we've jumped around so much. I was going to start you with how it all began, which is why I started with the COVID, how I got my headset. So now I'm going to take you through a little timeline, mini timeline. Is that okay?
hey, go ahead.
We'll go in order.
Yeah. Hey, you go. Yeah, if you can keep on track, I don't care. I'm just lost back there in the derailed about an hour ago. And I'm confused. But hey, that's okay. No big deal. I don't know.
I
Okay,
think
keep
it all-
going. I'm listening.
I think it all started with that access, you know, the staff access button. I think that's where it started for you.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, rub it in, rub it in, rub it in, rub it in. Yeah, that's okay.
So actually, yeah. So the first event I ever hosted was my birthday event, which, you know, like I said, was almost 2 months into my time in VR chat. I had made a small group of friends. I also invited some of my ESO friends to check out VR chat and join. And we had met one community. I honestly don't want to give him any credit. We don't really get along anymore. But I did meet one community member. He ran a small community, and so he was also not necessarily helping with my birthday planning, but he was the first one to mention DJs ever. Like I had no idea at this point there were DJs in VR chat, and he had mentioned that he was like, "Hey Tina, for your birthday, you know, do you want a DJ?" And I'm like, "A DJ?" And in my head, I'm thinking like, that sounds, you know, like you got expensive, and then on top of that, it's like I'm asking somebody to take time out of their day to DJ for me for my birthday, and I'm like, so I initially I turned him down. I was like, "No, it's okay, you know, it's okay," and I'm thinking that it's like taking out of somebody's time to have to like put time into like some, you know, I had no clue at that time anything about DJs and VR chat, and So then it came up to where it was like the day before, he's like, "Are you sure you don't want to DJ?" And I was like, "Well, what is that like? What's that entail? Blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Oh, it's, he kind of explained it a little bit." And I was like, "Well," he's like, "It's fine." He's like, "Have it. He'd love to come DJ for you." I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "Okay." The good thing with the first DJ I ever met, do you guys know who Rolled Turtle is?
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of speaking with him off air. Well, not speaking with him, but like in Discords
Okay.
and stuff. I've talked to him a little bit.
So this is Turtle. We're talking Turtle 4 years ago. Turtle. And he was the DJ that was invited to this event. Turtle's gotten way better. He's gotten he was always a great DJ, but he's gotten way better with, I think, his time management, as far as I know. But back then, Turtle, if you're watching this, you were terrible with time management. He showed up late, he showed up drunk, and him and like the guy who was like helping me organize this ended up like getting in some argument that for my birthday event I had to like get between. It was just like, "Hey, it's fine, blah blah blah." Like I had to like ease the tension, and he ended up being the first DJ. The worlds that I picked didn't have video players, so he just ended up like doing the open mic DJ. But that was cool. It was like the first time I ever experienced a DJ, VRchat DJ. And then I invited him to my Valentine's Day event, which was my next event, and he flaked on that, Turtle. I don't know if you remember that. Anyway, but Turtle did end up DJing me numerous times after that. So Turtle's great. But that was my first DJ experiences.
Oh.
Yeah. So from there, so that was like my first two events, my birthday and then Valentine's Day a couple weeks later. My birthday event, I had used this world. Is a world that I found called, I guess it's called Party Freak's Penthouse, but it's created. I don't know if you've ever heard of Paz. He is like, oh god, he's an amazing creator. Amazing world creator, but he does a lot of like he hosts Party Freaks, which is like a lap dance community, a dance community. So but he has this penthouse that it's huge, and he's done edits on it now where it's easier to figure out where to go. But for my birthday, it has like 5 or 6 different floors, and because it was kind of confusing on how to find people in there, I ended up making this little video for my birthday party. It was like a little invitation video, and it had like a little walkthrough of like what buttons to push and how to get to like where the games were and like where everybody would most likely be. And then because I had used Pause World, and I was new to VRchat, not really sure how worlds and stuff worked, I figured, well, since it's my birthday party, I did end up like donating money to Pause after I had my birthday there, because everyone loved the world and it was fun. And so I ended up sending him like a little donation on his Discord. And from there, he ended up messaging me from that just to thank me and whatnot. And so I was telling him how, I have this it was the Valentine's Day event. I have this Valentine's Day event. I think I'm also going to use your world for a pre-party. Sorry, I muted myself. For our pre-party event. And he was like, "Oh, cool, blah, blah, blah." And so, didn't talk to him, up until that event. And then I was in my own little home world at the time, just kind of like trying to psych myself up for this event that was my first technical like DJ and then like grouping a bunch of people together event, because my birthday was just kind of like a little friends thing, and then that other group. But this was like my first time like kind of actually hosting an event. So I was already nervous about the event. And then all of a sudden I get a notification that Pause would like to join you. And I'm like, "What? Pause?" And I start freaking out. And I'm like, do I hit can? Because I'm not even at the event yet. I'm just in my home world. And I'm like, it's just me alone, And I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, I start panicking. Like, I'm like, and I was like, I can't deny him. Like, that would be so rude. And to me, Pause is like, he's like a legend. He actually did an interview similar to this back then that I had seen, and so to me he was like a celebrity. And I was just like freaking. I'm like, oh my god, Pause is trying to. I literally, my hands were like super shaky as I'm like hitting yes, except he showed up, and I think he was surprised. Pause is a really chill dude. But just really cool. I think he was also surprised. I think he thought my event had started already. So he's thinking he would do like a little, jump in and come check out my event in his world. But that was not the case. And like we were talking and I was like so nervous that and then I recorded it because I was like, oh my God, a celebrity's joining on me. And so I like did like a little like screen record, and it's just funny. The funniest part about it is you could like hear in my voice like wavering. And then I'm like trying to look through my menu because my event's supposed to start in like 15 minutes. So I'm like trying to also like talk to Paz, not be rude to him, the celebrity. I was trying not to be rude to him. And then like I'm also kind of like mentally panicking because I'm like, my event's supposed to start. Oh my God, and like I'm looking at my menu in the video and my hands are just like this. They're just like my screen is just like all over it. looking back at it, it's like the funniest thing. Like that's like my only time I've ever like had like what's that called where you're like a celebrity
Starstruck?
Starstruck, yes. That was my first like ever like starstruck moment was with Pause. It was so funny, and I'm so glad I have that recorded. Especially like now Pause Party Freaks are one of our partners. We do actually for my birthday. A lot of their dancers are going to be go-go dancing for my birthday event.
Oh.
So we've collabed on a couple different where I do like the DJ side and they do the dancer side events. So those have been really fun. So yeah, but I really enjoy their events. They have some of the best dancers I've ever seen. Talking to the people watching. If you ever want to check them out, their group name's Party Freaks. But yeah, they do Freaky Friday, and their dancers are phenomenal. And Paz is great. He runs very, very good events and builds amazing worlds. He's a very good world builder. Yeah.
Oh.
So and then from there, yeah, event. Yeah.
And it just kind of naturally occurred.
Long-term relationship that didn't work out, and then yeah, and then I met Doc, and then yeah.
Oh wow. So.
Whoa. Hi folks. You folks come and join us on our social and on our Discord. We love to see you there. We have a Patreon, and we have 2 people that have signed on, Training Fangs and Zero. And I hope we get to see you there, folks. We appreciate the time and effort that you make. And my ball's getting out of here because it needs new rubber. Bye.
That's good to hear that you and Paz are still connected after that wonderful, funny moment.
Yeah. I always, I don't know if he's embarrassed by me telling people about it, but I always tell people like at his events and stuff, anytime, I'm just like, anytime like it mentions like someone brings up like, us being partners or whatever, I always have to tell people that story because it's so like it's oh God, looking back on it, it's so ridiculous, but it's definitely a cherishable moment. Especially looking at now, with how much I have grown, in VR chat. It's funny. It's funny to think that there was once a time where I was like shaky handed in front of Pause to like talk and yeah. But yeah.
Well, it's quite the distance.
You can see the improvement line.
Oh yeah.
I know. Man.
You can see the improvement. She's not over here shaking or anything like this. She's just, Sorry, I just want to know what she's on because I want some.
Oh, well, Raptor, I think that's youth.
Just a couple shots. Just a youth.
Thanks,
not youth. It is,
what?
It's not
Stop
youth.
giving your
Trust
shit.
me.
Youth? What the hell?
The secret ingredient is the couple shots of whiskey I took before this interview.
There it is.
Yeah,
Now it comes out of the bag. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Well,
Oh, wow.
the community you have built is quite the impressive one, and a lot of people going from you being shaky-handed talking to Pause to what you are now. Like we've talked to some of the people on your walls, and they have nothing but amazing things to say about TJs Tavern and you as well.
Yeah. Great people. There are a lot of amazing people in VR chat for sure. Definitely is something I'm very glad that I discovered. Oh. anyway, yeah, it's been a really fun adventure VRChat has for sure. Yeah.
So
I got a question for Elaine.
shoot.
Where since you got where you're at now, is there anything further ahead that you're shooting for? What's your goal that you're shooting for, besides maybe slowing down and Doc holding you down onto the ground? Yeah.
There technically is. I live very I live like 90 minutes both away from Vegas. I've actually kind of have this brainstormed idea of maybe in the future, I don't want to give too much of it away, but I have everything but a business plan down, but of building maybe an IRL TJs Tavern, which would be kind of like a place where people it would be a place where we'd be able to introduce a lot more people to VRChat and also to the nightclub, scene, the music scene in VRChat. But yeah, it's one of the perks of my line of work is I know a lot of rich people who like to invest in new construction stuff. So
now I know why she's the way she is. Now I know why she's the way she is.
Oh. What's
Yep,
that?
she let it out of the bag. Yeah. Well, look at me.
That?
You're from Vegas, right? You're 90 minutes away from Vegas.
Yeah,
I'm originally from Gardnerville, Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Over by Lake. Yeah. So, yeah. Your craziness comes out. Like they say, the lights might stay on. The lights might stay on,
for the
but
record,
the lights might stay on
for 10 years, which I guess is a long time.
Still, it rubs off real quick. It rubs off quick. Yes, it does. Like they say, they say what stays in Vegas, the state, that I like this. To me, it's once the lights are on, it don't matter. Guess what? Nobody cares. Just go like hell, balls to the wall, and have fun. That is Vegas. Straight up.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah. I guess I do give off some of that energy.
Yep. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
So what kinds of things have you learned during the time process going from you owning the ESO guild to where you sit today?
What things have I learned? That's a good question. How to maintain a good buzz while playing shitty?
No, I'm just kidding. How to not pass out on my own dance floor.
Oh my god. Oh shit. I figured she was getting serious there, and I was just gonna say, whoops, sorry, the dice just rolled. Snake eye, screwed you. Bye bye, I'm out. Bye. Yeah, I crapped this game, man. No problem. Holy shit. Wow, I'd hate to drink against you and shitty. Fuck, I'd be fucking proud.
Well,
I'd be proud.
See, the trick is what you drink, and it took me
a decent amount of time to learn not to drink hard alcohol or mixed drinks especially since my community is heavily drinking game focused. Like we have a whole little rotation we do around this room every event. My game host has almost a schedule. He has we start at the roulette, then we go upstairs to spin the wheel, then we play shitty, and then from there it just kind of everybody's everywhere by that time. But probably the biggest thing I have learned, honestly, is well, definitely anybody who uses Unity or and this goes outside of just VRChat, game creators and stuff, you have to be a masochist to want to be in Unity. Unity is terrible. It's a terrible place. But I think it's easy, I think, for a lot of people to look at not just world creation, but hosting and then also DJing and think, I want to do that. That looks easy. Or they think they don't understand the amount of time that it takes for all three of those things to happen. World creating, it takes a lot of time. Even though this world is pretty much done, I still do at least 2 hours of maintenance and updating on it every week, and And it's still and I think for a lot of world creators, especially ones who run like clubs and stuff like that, not just, well, even, everything, home worlds, everything like that. I don't think any creator ever looks at anything and says, this is done. No world is ever done. So there's always stuff you want to do. There's always stuff, you see in other worlds, or that just as people are in your world, you realize like this could change or that could change, or, this could use a little flair or whatever. And Kat, what are you doing? DJing, man, the time that these DJs, considering they do it for free, there a lot of them are lucky if they get Twitch like subs and stuff like that. But man, the amount of time that it takes DJs just to prepare for their sets, and then to get out there and perform them, just how hard everybody is on themselves, who are behind the scenes, working to make these events for everybody. That I just think it's one thing that gets overlooked a lot. For people don't understand how much effort it really takes, for everybody, who is part of the making of an event, it's so I think that's a reason why a lot of clubs either struggle like with staffing or just, in getting people there, is they don't, I think, maybe understand, especially starting out, they don't understand like how much effort it all really, really, really takes. It's not just anybody can do it kind of job. It takes a lot of energy, Raptor. It takes a lot of energy to be able to
I'm not going to say anything. Nope. Nope.
It takes that. We're going to coin that, though. We're going to coin it the Vegas energy. It takes that Vegas energy to, to really
the Vegas
be able to,
energy,
to do this long time, especially long time.
You're gonna bottle it and start selling it on the nearest hardware store, because I think it'll be sold out in the first 10 minutes. It'll be sold out in the first 10 minutes.
Of TJ energy.
Oh,
but from the time I've started, so like I said, I'm now entering my 4th year of being in the hosting event DJ community. And I've seen like over the last year a lot of like original a lot of the original like club owners starting to like retire, step down, which is one of those things like I just thinking about that, and like a lot of those people were maybe they're even a couple years before I was there. But it's weird because like I can't really picture myself doing that yet. I don't know, but it's one of those things like you have to think about too, like how long do you keep doing this, and then how do you revamp? Maybe if in the event the whole IRL things, that probably would be a time where I would have to step down. But I don't expect that to be anything that would happen for like another 2 years probably. But until then, the party must go on.
Well, there are still clubs starting. Well, there's a few clubs who do both the IRL and VR stuff. You could, with the combination of the two, you'd be in a very unique place, especially in Vegas, to have that both VR and IRL experience and be able to entwine both communities would benefit you pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen some of those communities both in VR, and then I've seen like kind of like at least they're streaming of what it looks like IRL as well. And I know they have like meetups and stuff also, like little not little, but they're like festival type thingies that combine that as well. But just and I don't want to give out too much, but I have I have an idea of something that I don't think's ever been done before, that I know of, and it's it's gonna be I really am just at a point where I have like its whole concept put together. I really just need to put a business plan together and hit up some of my hotel buddies.
Oh,
and give them a little presentation on it and see what they think. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, what does it take to run a club like this in VRchat? We've heard from various people their takes, but you've been at it for 4 years and you're quite well loved by the community as well as they are. What does it take to run TJ's Tavern?
So I have a couple different things that I think I bring personally to the table that is different than experiences I think a lot of other club owners might have. First of all, I've always like, I don't know, ever since like end of high school, college, all of that, I've always hosted parties. T-Bird can account for that. Yeah, I've always done like holiday little theme parties, Halloween parties, just at my house. But and then on top of that, I have a lot of like retail management experience, which I think has brought a huge part of it, because it's like kind of like that the custom, they have which isn't true, by the way, but the whole like the customer's always right, quote unquote. But it's something that I have seen in a lot of clubs that I think they kind of lack in, which is in a sense, it's kind of the way the staff interact with the people at their events, and especially club owners. A lot of club owners, maybe there's some of them that are amazing. Skippy Styles is one who's like him and I actually have a very similar energy. But he's just like, he's very friendly, and he's like very outgoing with people. But it's like what's a word for it? One thing that we do here, always been huge with my staff about, like, if somebody is like, the biggest issues we ever really run into here are like maybe somebody's playing their own music when we have a live DJ, which of course is a big no-no. I build my worlds now and try to preach about your own personal safety settings, now that VRchat has like really given us a lot of ability to adjust how we see other people in the world for our own FPS, and that kind of stuff. But I feel like a lot of worlds, one thing we don't do here is I never demand that everybody is in a poor or better. I just don't. I've ever since the beginning, I've always felt like some people might have, an avatar that's them. That's their identity. When we like, I've had this, my avatar creator hates this. That's another story. But I've had this avatar almost since I started. We'll say like 3.5 years. I've been in at least a version of this avatar until I finally got it customized and stuff. But I think a lot of people have like an avatar that they identify with. Some people don't care. They've got like a million avatars they swap between. But you two have your avatars. And some people can't either afford or don't know how to like commission somebody to help them make it poorer or better. So they're stuck with these avatars that are very poor, but it's who they are. And so one way we handle our security here is I will never go up to somebody and demand they do something. But I ask them in a way that's respectful. Like, I like people when they come here to know that, our staff, we're not above you. We're all human. We're all here together. We're here to have fun. My staff will never be out here like roadhousing anybody. We're just going to be here. I stress it with everyone. Like, we ask people, like if somebody does have like a very bad particle avatar that's obviously causing people problems, always say, hey, do you mind, is it possible, it's kind of affecting the world, is it okay? Can you please change your avatar? Or if somebody's playing music, hey, by the way, I don't know, you're probably not listening, but we do have a live DJ. If you could please just, turn your music off. And 99% of the time they're happy to do it. But then that creates a rapport then where they realize, wow, like, this club owner is really cool. Cause then, then I'll be like, oh, thanks. Cheers. It's a level of like friendliness you have with the patrons who show up for your events. We do this for free, so, I mean, I guess some clubs, I've been to a lot of events where it's like the staff just is like in their own little clique. They're not socializing. Yeah. And me, everybody, like, that's the thing with Doc, is he knows that too, is like me, I'm never in one place. You asked, where am I the most? I am everywhere. I'm always going group, making sure everybody is having a great time. Everybody who comes here will be able to have said that they got to hang out, me, and maybe even cheers with Tinajay, but it's that personable level. Like, I really try to push, not just with me, but also with my staff, of making sure everybody, all of our roles here are very personable. We're all, with the community. We're not just hanging off on a side or in the office or, we're always mingling with everybody, but that's also how we have eyes to listen to conflicts and stuff like that. Which is another thing that does happen, especially in drinking communities. Where people are drinking, people get drunk, it happens, sometimes people are having a bad day. Somebody says something to them that maybe comes off bad to them, and it's just, that's another really, really important thing that I especially really try to push is being able to talk, like let's all talk. Let me hear what's going on. How did you feel? How did this person make you feel? It's being able to like manage that. And I don't think a lot of clubs put a lot of time into that, enough time. I think that's really, really important, just so everybody can feel safe and everybody feels like they're heard, and everybody can feel like, they're welcome, I think that's something that does kind of lack in some places, is that welcome feeling. But we really push that here. So, yeah.
Why do you think there's that kind of a difference between clubs and communities in VRChat, but those like you who pay attention and those who much rather hang with their friends?
I think a lot of it, I think it has to do, and I can't speak for it for sure because I'm not really that involved with their clubs, like intimate staff situations. But I think a lot of times groups end up staffing based on who their friends are. Like they just like, oh, you're my friend, here, be in staff. And I don't do that. Like we're very, like Doc and I hardly even knew each other. He just actually just showed up one day. I was like, how can I help? And I was like, oh, well, do this, and he was like, boom, do it. But and another thing, like our security, I never have security that drink. All our security, they might smoke weed, but I like our security to all be sober. And then, but none of them are like my really good friends are not staff, like my staff, they are friends, but they're not like my buddies. So we don't have that, like, they feel like they could get away with. It's like real life. Like you never start a business and hire your friends, because that's how people, like, you feel bad telling them not to do something, or, to direct them how to do something differently. And then it always turns into a situation then where people, like, either they mean to or not, but they always end up like taking advantage, because they're like, oh, you're just my friend, you're going to forgive me. But I think that's a thing that happens with a lot of clubs. And then with that, you're not staffing based on personality types that are compatible with their roles. So I think a lot of clubs also have staff that maybe, aren't like, I don't know. I'm not going to say, that all the other staff is, staffed terribly by any means. There are a lot of really great events, but I just think, a lot of times I think it gets overlooked, personality types with certain roles. And it also could just be the simple fact that nobody's getting paid. So a lot of people put in effort, that they get paid for, but that's just not a way I work.
So why
I always give my 100 for everything.
Why do you put as much effort into something that's free for everybody? Why do you continue?
It's just, honestly, I mean, it's just kind of in my personality. It's just how I live my life all the time in general. But also, I mean, it is rewarding as well. It's absolutely rewarding. It's for people to know that they have a place that they can come to every Thursday, and have a safe space. They can, females, we have a lot of females that come here that know they can come here, drink as much as they want. They're not going to have to worry about creeps or people being weird, because we don't, that's not the community we've molded, and, obviously that kind of behavior is not acceptable. And, and that's why I have security that's sober. So there are sober people here at our latest hour who can make sure everybody's having fun and being safe. Yeah.
Okay.
So that answered your question, right?
Yeah, it answered my question. I've said this a lot, but it wasn't until 2023 I realized VR chat raves and clubs and stuff was a thing. I had no idea. So when I found it and I realized people like yourself have such orchestrated organization on how things run and how much effort a lot of people put. I've always been really impressed by how much effort people like yourself and the various other VR chat clubs put into running an event that people can just come to, drink, and enjoy. Like it's a very impressive hobby.
Oh, okay, and to continue on your topic with, now that you said that, another major reason why it's very important to me, which you and I kind of talked about, I think, in our DMs pre today when we first talked about this interview, is just when I first started VRchat. It's like I was saying, I used to do a lot of retail management. I'm a very social person, which that environment like really gave me an area to flourish, socially. I, love to chat with, people in the store and stuff like that, get to know customers and stuff. But with my job now doing interior design, I work from home. So I'm like, I've been stuck for the last maybe 8 years. I've been stuck in my house, only talking with people work related, like through the computer or on the phone, but it's like my social life has been like very, very dry, which is why ESO became such a huge part, an important part of my, my life. Like I discovered that pretty much since I've been working this job, and, that became my only social hub. So having VR chat, and because of that, I have like where I live right now, it's kind of sad to say, but I have 0 friends. I don't have a single friend in this town, the city that I live in. But so it's just one of those things where like VR chat has really like given me a space where I have, like everybody does, I have a lot of things IRL too that stress me out, that, that bog me down IRL, but VR chat is definitely somewhere where I've been able to again flourish with what I do best, which is just, being a friend, being able to like bring fun to, people, have a good time, and get to meet amazing people. I've always loved to just meet people, get to know people, know how their brains tick, what they're into, and that kind of stuff. And this community it's amazing, and so that's definitely a reason I keep doing it. Is just not even just for me, but just I know how important it is to so many people to have this space, because it's important to me in that aspect too, just to have a place to get out of IRL, just whatever's bogging you down at IRL and stuff like that. So
okay. So another question I ask a lot of people, since you're very community focused, as you've stated a lot of times, what kind of people have inspired you during your journey throughout VR chat?
Definitely Pause. Pause has been a huge inspiration, not just on the world creating, but just like his community. He has a very good community. Another one is I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but the famous light bulb.
I have not ever heard of the famous light bulb.
You need it. I hope you guys can edit crickets in there, and I'm going to make him watch that. He hates it when I tell people that. I'm like, oh my God, everybody, this is the famous light bulb. No, he's a creator of Club Light, which was his first. That existed before when I first joined. It was like the alternate to drinking night. There was Club Light, which was Quest friendly as well as drinking night was, but it was just not like the mainstream drinking world. It was the cool kids drinking world, and so through that I ended up meeting Lightbulb. But he's a great dude. Lightbulb is he has and he just as a person is amazing. He builds great. He also is a great world creator. Now he has a world called Rhythm, which is kind of one of those more like kind of like Shelter, one of those like underground. You have to like find your way to the little underground warehousey, basement, rave area. But yeah, he has definitely been an inspiration. God, I don't know. There's somebody. Let me look at the walls. No, just honestly, the DJs. Anais. I'll definitely got to give a shout out to Anais. He is one of the first DJs I met. He was a DJ for my first, so I mentioned my birthday event and my Valentine's Day event. My Valentine's Day event, like I said, Turtle flaked on my Valentine's Day event, but we had another DJ there who ended up DJing. But my real event, like the one event that I consider my first big, kind of like how I do events now, where I had multiple DJs scheduled, one world type deal, was my very first St. Patrick's Day event, and it is called still Whiskey Makes Us Frisky. And Anais was a DJ that I was kind of like, I can't remember if Turtle's the one who introduced me to Anais, but Anais was a DJ I hadn't met, but I was introduced to, for this event specifically to DJ. And he He ended up joining on me days before the event, like as soon as he got like booked. He ended up joining on me, and Anais is such a good person to talk to, man. That guy like is so knowledgeable on so many things. He has such like a calm demeanor, and just he's like awesome. Anais is, we've had so many times in VR chat where we just sit there and we can chat for hours, just about, anything really. But yeah, he was somebody who was like helped me through that event, because like that event again was like my first like official like big event, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, he like held my hand through that.
Oh wow.
Amazing.
Anais is an amazing person. Actually, when he reached out to us, that's how I met him. And I went to join him.
Okay.
And when I joined him, it was here in your club.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, Anais is a great person. Shout out to you, bud. Keep on doing you.
Yeah.
I do say people like there are a lot of people in VR chat that make this place exactly what I would say it'd be a virtual home would be. Not like all the other social platforms where you hop on and it's just some Cheeto eating kid smashing on a keyboard going, I hate this because of blah, 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 blah. And it's just here, it's people like Anais and you and Raptor and everyone else you meet around this place is what makes this such a fantastic platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
But that's also another reason why I usually ask people, like, who inspired you? Who have you met? What things have you learned? Because usually that brings up, oh, there's these awesome people that taught me these things along the way. And just kind of, I guess, kind of showcases what VR chat really is, in a sense, without really kind of asking right out about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I will say thank you very much for joining us, Tina. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you
speaking
for
with
having me. Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you if they wish to find you?
All over the place. Usually so
all over the place.
we are here every Thursday between 8 and 12 Central Time at TJs Tavern. Last year, up until this month, we had always done Throwback Thursdays, which I would have 3 DJs doing 2-hour sets. This is our first year. Maslika's my game host, who's been my game host for like 6 months. Even though we've been Throwback Thursday forever, every time, and no matter how many times I correct him, he'd always be like, Thirsty Thursday. So I just was like waiting. I've been wanting to do like some kind of change. So our latest change, our evolution of TJ's Tavern is now we're doing Thirsty Thursdays. Yes, that's right, Jedi. Thirsty Thursdays. And we have 5 DJs now, so I cut it an hour short, but get to showcase more talent, I think. We were kind of limiting ourselves, I think, with just 3 DJs a week, but yeah, so we're doing that. Outside of that, I mean, weekends. You'll always find me at Freaky Fridays at Party Freaks, which I'm glad we moved the time, because now I can actually go to their event tonight. But anyway, I thought I was gonna miss it otherwise. But I'm there, and you can always add me. Well, you can't see it on here, but Tinajaymeow. If I'm on Blue, I'm always hopping around DJ events, always. Or drinking events. Okay, yeah, drinking events too, but mostly DJ events. But yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And then our Discord is discord.gg TJs Tavern, all one word. But if you want to join our community, I'm excited. We actually this week we just hit 1,000 members, which was kind of a big deal.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 1,000 and thank you.
Way to go.
It's been a long time coming.
4 years.
Oh.
And I can still smell the fresh paint. Yeah.
And I hope you have another wonderful, successful 4 years.
Thank you. Yeah. Either here or at the Vegas TJs Tavern.
Well,
We'll see.
when the Vegas TJ Tavern springs up, I'll try to be there the first day.
There you go.
Opening night. There we go.
Opening night. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Raptor, you know the thing.
Yes, thank you.
Folks, no matter what, I've been trying to keep up. Hopefully you can. You see this girl, Tina, do me a favor. Find Doc, and maybe he can give you a ball and chain to keep her in gear because she's everywhere. I don't know if she got hit by a car, but I tell you one thing. It wasn't an ice cream truck. You guys have a good one, and watch out for the flavors because it's going to be everywhere. Take care. Bye, folks.